So this semester, you and your team are both, individually and collectively, going to be working on completing a project. And the goal of that project is to take a very small set, very small, very sparse set of marketing data for a novel product. So the goal of your team is to bring this new product to market. And what that means is that you have some data from how well this product has performed in a handful of test markets. And your job is to figure out how to price that product and how much of that product you'll be able to sell in a nationwide market for that product, and be able to make that recommendation to a vice president of marketing, essentially, right? So what price do we want to charge for this thing? How much do we want to produce? And sort of what are some of the other analytical parameters around the bringing of this product out into market? And so each of the mathematical topics that we learn this semester is going to be partially at least targeted towards answering questions that arise in the process of doing that marketing project. So let's first take a quick look at what the data that your teams are going to have to work with looks like. So you can find your team's data file in Blackboard under the marketing project link on the left-hand column. There's a bunch of different aspects in here, but where you'll go is to go to the team data files. And in here, there's a team data file with each of your team numbers on it. So if you're team 1, obviously you'll be using team data file number 1. We don't have a team 6, so for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to use team data file number 6. You click on that, it'll download an Excel copy of this file that looks like this. Let me zoom in a little bit on it. You can all see it a little bit better. So here's the information that we have to work with. So what you'll see on your sheet is, first of all, what is the size of the potential national market? So how many consumers nationwide will there be for the product that you're going to bring to market? In this example, this data is telling me I'm going to market something that could have 150 million customers, potential customers, out on the national market. And then it has information here on the results of market testing. In this case, 5, your team might have a different number of test markets. The idea here is that your marketing team has gone out to each of these 5 small markets, so each of the markets that you go out to is considerably smaller than the nationwide market. But hopefully, each market has been chosen in such a way that it's representative of the national market. So a lot of hard work goes into figuring out where to test market products. And your marketing team has gone out into each of these markets and sort of posed the question to potential consumers, if we were to price this product at, let's say, $332.95, then how much would we sell at that price? That's the essence of test marketing, is going in and just saying, at this price, are you going to buy or are you not going to buy, right? And to essentially testing the demand for your product in each of these 5, in this case, small test markets. So that'll give you some information about what the demand for your product looks like on the national market. There's also information in this file about costs. That's the other side of the coin. How much is it going to cost your firm to produce the product that you're trying to market? And those costs come in 2 different flavors. The first one is a fixed cost, so this tells me how much fixed cost there's going to be, it's like the overhead. We'll talk a little bit more about what this looks like mathematically in a little bit. What are the fixed costs? And then there's some information down here about variable costs as well. We're actually going to make a small simplification to this project for the semester that we'll talk about in a little bit. So you have information about the 2 different types of costs, the fixed costs and the variable costs. There's also some possible additional questions down here at the bottom. You may choose to pay attention to those and you may not. For our short course, we may just leave those by the wayside. So there's information here about the demand for your product and the cost that you incur in order to produce the product. And your ultimate goal at the end of the day is to transform this data into a recommendation. Here's how much we should produce and expect to sell. Here's what's the price that we want to charge for this, in order that our firm maximize the amount of profit that we make out of the sale of this product. So that's the nut of the marketing project for this semester. And the various mileposts along the line, I call them decision reports. Each one of these decision reports involves your team taking a small part of that question and figuring out how to address it. So, for example, the first decision report that we're going to talk about at the end of class today is going to be to take that test marketing data, which again shows you how well the product performed in each of the various test markets that they're laid out in your data, and figure out what that test market data tells you about the national market. So if everyone in the whole national market were like this test market, then how much would we expect to sell at each of these various price points? So the first task is to scale it up. Scale up your test market data to this whole size of the national market. In each of these decision report links that you can find here, you'll see at the bottom of the page, under the exercises section, this describes what needs to go into your team's decision report. You can download a paper copy of the decision report assignment here if you like. This sort of just packages all the information on that page in a slightly more readable fashion. But more importantly, the decision that you'll have to make as a team is outlined here. Does your test marketing data support the possibility of selling 1.5 million units on the national market at a certain price? And the deliverable down here is that your report should include a table of national market quantities at each of the unit prices. So each of the decision reports tells you what's the decision that your team has to make here, and also what deliverable information in the form of tables, charts, etc. needs to be a part of that supporting evidence for your decision report. So there's a total of 5 decision reports over the course of the project, and the first 2 of those we're going to get started on today together here with your teams in class. Might not be able to finish the reports, but you should hopefully have a sense by the end of class today on what your team's decisions are going to be for those 2 decision points. And then as a team, you'll write up your report and submit it to Blackboard. Each of our class meetings will be decision reports due until the end of the semester. And then each of those decision reports, as you submit it, should give you some information that can help you to build out your final slide presentation, the one that you just created, a blank one, and shared with everybody, right? Every time you submit a decision report is an opportunity for you to update your slides. And so before every class meeting, I'll also be looking at your slide presentations and providing you with any feedback on how it's going. So that's how the project generally is going to proceed. We'll do some sort of initial work on it while we're here together in person with your teams in class, and you continue that work by writing up your report after class and updating your slides before the class that follows. And at the end of the semester, you'll download your final slide presentation as a PDF and then upload that to Blackboard. And then if you want to shoot for that E, that exemplary mark for the project for yourself on an individual basis, you can also create a screencast, a video screencast of you presenting your slides and submit that up into Blackboard as well. So the team will sort of develop all of the intermediate products, and then you individually, if you want, can create a video that presents your slides at the end of the semester as well. If you want a more thorough introduction to the material in the project, there is a video introduction to the Market It project, which you can find right here in the preface of our live textbook, the Applied Calculus for Business textbook. So jump in here. This is a much more thorough explanation of the parameters of the project, what it is that you're doing, the decisions that you're making, and so forth. If at any point you sort of lose the tune of what it is that you're doing and why it is that you're doing it, it may be worth revisiting this introductory video just to get some more information.